Hello, everyone. Welcome to Psychic Couple Reacts. I'm Riz Oriah.
And I'm Lady O.
And thanks for joining us for another exciting and haunted episode where we are diving into our favorite paranormal shows and reacting to them.
Yes. So for this episode, we are still with Paranormal Nightshift.
Love this show.
Yeah, there's a few that we want to really go through with you, and we picked another really good one. I hope you've been enjoying our episodes. This is our third one. So did the lights just flicker?
The lights just flickered, and you guys are watching this. But anyway, Paranormal Nightshift is when people are sharing their stories, their ghost stories, their unexplainable high strangeness that happens when they work the graveyard shift.
Yeah.
And that is that's the night shift, right?
Right. And you know, it's so funny because we were talking always about energy and the energy fields. And it's so funny because we were so deep involved in this episode and the lights keep coming in and out. So like, I feel like,
well, we've lived in haunted houses for so long.
Yeah, we have.
So we've been all around the world. I'm a psychic medium in Trance Channel and
I'm an intuitive empath.
Right.
And if you've been following along, you've been understanding that what we do is we break down these episodes so you can understand to the best of our ability to know exactly how this actually works, this paranormal experience that people have. And there's so many layers to it.
Not just to be frightened by some of these activities that happen to people, but for you to understand how the other side works. And as a medium, I can share with you what I've experienced in my over a decade and a half of doing this work. So from sounds to smells to intuition to things moving in the room.
To objects being haunted.
Yeah. And so we're going to share with you the different types of hauntings that there are, as well as what we think is going on more on the metaphysical level. So without further ado, I think we should just jump right in. Anything you want to say about this episode?
Yeah, so this episode is Haunted School Attacks. And actually, the episode that we're watching is not about a haunted school, but it's in that episode. And this is about a young girl who goes to work at night as a caretaker.
A caretaker.
So let's just jump in.
What you're about to watch is based on true events. Some details have been altered to protect confidentiality.
My name is Laura Ketchledge, and I work the night shift.
Lady of the House, that's the name of the episode.
I was heading off to nursing school in the fall, and my mother thought it would be a really good idea to get some practice and helping an elderly couple that she knew through family connections.
That summer, Laura takes a job as a live-in caregiver, 400 miles from home.
I was a teenager. I've never really gone to somebody's home and lived with them.
She's a teenager driving
like that.
She moved 400 miles away.
This was a home that this family had lived in for 75 years.
Hello?
A lot of history in that house, 75 years of the same generations, families.
Well, when I first came into the house, there was an uneasy feeling. Just kind of felt a little bit like an intruder, like I was out of place.
Oh, that's Grace. She's dead.
Why do people say it just like that?
That
She's dead.
feeling returned as I was walking up the stairs.
You can't say she passed away.
Maybe she's a little jealous or something. I have a feeling this is the wife.
Carol introduces Laura to her husband.
Charles, this is the new girl.
Poor guy.
Very nice to meet you.
Laura, it's nice to meet you there.
Imagine she's going into that intimate
Charles
setting
was
like that.
just sweet and genuine. My job is to stay up all night by his bed, turn him, give him medication, get him up to use the lavatory if needed, and to really make sure everything was okay.
Stay alert, Laura.
Carol was more reserved, and she had a worry, and she just wasn't straightforward with me. I suspected that there was a deeper story to this home.
So already you see she's empathic. She's already open to these things.
My
and she doesn't
official
know
hours really started at midnight, but before that I would help make dinner. One night I had borrowed an apron out of the pantry. I had to give it a good tug to open it up. I was very careful afterwards to close the pantry door.
Laura is sure it's locked.
Oh, you know the
I put
setup's
on the
coming right
apron
now.
and made dinner.
She was sure she locked it.
Right.
All right. Of course. Great.
Later that night, after I put Charles to bed and Carol went to sleep, I went back into the kitchen to tidy up.
This girl is alone in the house from midnight
Teenager.
to like 6 a.m. Not alone, but like she's awake and
Yeah.
managing
When I
this older
walked in the
house.
kitchen and found the pantry door wide open,
First night.
I was very shocked it was open.
Because you're going to think maybe there's a
It made
burglar.
no sense the door was open.
Yeah, but she's
Not
sensing.
for 1 minute did I second guess myself because I clearly closed that door. I had a knot in my stomach. And then I heard footsteps and felt a presence. Right behind me. Nobody was there. Something was really, really going on in this house, and I felt terrible about it.
How many times has that happened to us and to people?
Yeah, let's pause it there for a second. You can already tell, guys, that she is sensitive. First of all, you have to be pretty sensitive as a teenager.
Yeah.
For your family to even know that you should be a caregiver, they believe in
Right.
you so much. Just you got to break down that setup. Guys, when we're teenagers, our parents don't send us 400 miles away to get on the job training. Okay? So I don't know what world that
I'm
is. That
curious
definitely
about
was
the backstory of that.
Yeah,
but-
that definitely wasn't the world in New York City where I grew up.
Right.
So she goes 400 miles, moves to another town.
Right.
And that's like almost another culture 400 miles away.
Right.
And then takes a job working alone.
Yeah.
So she's already knows that she's built to be a caregiver, a
Yeah.
healer. She's
So her
receptive.
senses are up, and that seems to be the theme
Yeah.
across the board. Is the senses are up, and the senses.
Well,
are,
you're like that. You
Yeah.
were like that since you were a little girl. You
Yeah.
always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
You could take care of people. You were never afraid of somebody who was sick.
No. Remember you took me to a small village in India?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a woman who was mourning the death of her husband. She couldn't leave the house.
And people
She
didn't want to even
had-
sit next to her.
They didn't want to sit next to her. Her legs were swollen. She had some ailment with her
Lesions.
feet.
She had lesions on her leg.
And I remember walking in, and because I know my abilities, I said, "Let me see her," and they couldn't believe it. Like, I'm in this small village in a small town in India.
Yeah.
And then I went in and laid hands on her and worked with her, and
I
I
remember.
wasn't afraid.
Yep.
So, but that's when you own and respect the journey of being a healer.
So that means that I think this is one of the reasons
is
why
the
she's able to
beginning for her.
feel
Yeah.
that there's something in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the next couple of weeks, I was getting into my routine.
The trump card wins the trick.
Okay.
Okay, got that?
I think I got it.
Carol and her husband were determined to teach me how to play bridge. We even had an imaginary player.
Thank you, Grace.
You need 4
What?
players for the game.
But only 3 players are among the living.
They're egging the spirit on.
I put
There's
the
some
cards back in the
Deep
tray.
backstory here.
4th player is Grace.
So she notices she's putting the cards away.
Sealed container.
Later that night, around 4 a.m., I noticed something in the living room.
Oh, great.
Okay, so I was wondering what
taken
I would
back
do in this
because
situation.
all of the cards were out of the tray and scattered all over the
I mean,
room.
seriously.
Right.
Carol and
That's-
Charles had gone to bed, and
So
I
they're
had
in
been
bed.
in the
She
living
knows
room
it's not them.
earlier,
Right.
and those cards were still in the tray. There was no logical reason that those cards were out of the tray.
She was just in
As
the
she
room.
tidies up, Laura feels something is watching her every move.
Oh, we're going to the
Felt
next
sick
level
to my
now.
stomach, and I got a wave of nausea.
Stomach, you definitely will feel it there first.
Felt
Wave
cold
of
and
nausea is a very
clammy at the
typical
same
symptom.
time. Sensed this presence.
They're at another frequency.
It
It's
ran
like
a chill down my spine.
the spirit is another frequency, guys.
What she sees
So it's very
next
powerful. It's
haunts
going to
her
affect your
to this
energy.
day.
I was so scared.
It's a few nights in as a live-in caretaker for an elderly man when Laura discovers something not of this world.
So she's
Is
experiencing
watching
this right
her
away. So
every
she goes into
move.
the house.
First night was the cupboard. Second night was this?
I
Okay.
felt a presence in the home.
All right. Now she is having a visual sighting. You're getting the spirit in visual form, not a vision in the room, in the so-called 3D.
Then she just faded into nothing.
Right.
Blinks out.
Yeah. There's many
I
people,
was so scared.
including yourself, who have seen
I never
energy
moved so
beings that
quickly
are
in my life.
materialized in the 3D.
I have seen spirits
I never
in
really
haunted
thought
spaces
about
that were
the
in. I
paranormal
literally look
before I
like you're
started
sitting
this
here.
job, but there was something wrong with this home. It was haunted.
As far as Laura's concerned,
Okay, let's go and see what else happens. There we go.
What do you do next?
I just was very vigilant because I didn't know what next was going to happen.
With eyes wide open, Laura vows to do her job, stay alert, and protect Charles.
It was around 3 a.m. and I was reading a book seated next to Charles.
Isn't it always around 3 a.m.?
That's the magic hour.
The
isn't it?
electrical
Yep.
outlets flickered
That's common.
like some sort of a bizarre power surge.
Again, they operate on, they
Yeah,
exist.
electrical frequency.
Yep, they have a
And when I
frequency, they
looked
interrupt.
at the doorway,
Watch this.
there was this globe or ball of light. When it entered the room, you could feel it. It was like another person entering the room.
Okay.
It was
She knew it was-
powerful.
Do you know a lot of people have actually seen this? A ball of light.
Indoors.
Indoors. Not ball, lightning.
like
I
Ozzy
wanted
says.
to yell or scream, but nothing came out.
Okay,
Now, this usually happens
It
to
was
people
like
when
my
they're
voice was
sleeping and
stolen
they
or
wake up
swept
and they
away.
try to scream
night
It
terrors.
was
and they see
the
something in the room.
most unworldly feeling that I've ever had.
So it's like that dry scream. So it's almost like the spirit is affecting the physical.
Draining the life force. Remember in Harry Potter, they also tried to make a, what was
I
that?
think it
The
was
Dementors
this,
were sucking the life out of
right.
Harry? Mm.
Orb
Similar
or
concept.
soul.
it's not unusual to have
Okay, so you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, I mean, just the ball of energy alone, that.
Now, remember, she did see Grace
Right.
in the human female
Right,
form.
right.
Now, Grace has taken on
Yeah.
the energetic form.
Right. Which is very common. And from what I know about, the spirit guides have talked to us and we've asked a lot of questions in this area.
Yeah.
So that is our natural state that we like to actually flow in the other side. We don't necessarily always have to take on this human body, this human
Right.
flesh and bone experience or the humanoid experience. Sometimes it's very common for just a ball of energy to be moving around,
Orbs
which
are
leads us to orbs.
Well, we'll talk about orbs, and if you check on our channel, you will
Yeah.
also see that we have videos of orbs, multiple videos of orbs flying around, changing direction,
Right.
stopping, going through walls, floors.
And that's like a different form where they're, I think, smaller and trying to be less, obvious. But these ball of lights that I have heard many people talk about, it's like a glowing orb that's moving, energetic, like electrical.
And there is a
frequencies.
vibe. There are waves of energy coming off of these glowing orbs
Yeah.
that are literally affecting the well-being of the
Right.
person in the room. It's almost like a sort of radiation, you might say. I
Yeah.
don't think it's physical
Well,
radiation.
that's probably why she couldn't.
She was nauseous. She had to run out.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
see.
Terrified. That was one of the events in my life that has unnerved me the most.
Oh,
Carol came into the
Why is
kitchen
she smiling?
and she
That's
looked
really
at me
strange.
Oh.
Miss Grace doesn't like you wearing that apron.
And did you give her that apron to wear?
I learned right then that this was Grace's apron, and she
This
was
lady's enjoying it.
Charles's
Finally,
first
somebody
wife.
else gets terrorized besides her.
Charles had been happily
She's been living
married
with
to
this
his
other
first
woman.
wife for years, and she passed away, unfortunately, after a long, protracted illness.
She died in the home,
Grace's spirit still lives in this house.
and Carol believes Grace never left.
You know,
And she
this is
didn't.
really common.
It's
Spirits hanging around their family
husband.
members,
I
yeah.
practically ripped the apron off and stuffed it back in the pantry closet, and that's where it stayed.
We're very unaware that we can trigger bigger paranormal events. When
okay. So the objects, not only do objects contain the psychic imprint of the person who owned it, so after they pass, that object can still be read. You might say a good psychic who can do psychometry, which is a study or the ability to be able to get a message from an object by holding it, a
Right.
psychic
Really
message.
felt, conflicted in my heart. I wanted to be there for this couple and finish the job, and plus I really needed the money, but I was also very scared.
Got a lot going on.
I hope you decide to stay.
I hope you
Charles
decide to
needs
stay.
someone.
Oh, yes.
Sort of talked me into
What did she
staying,
do that voice for?
I know.
at least for a little
That's
while
probably how she
longer.
remembered it.
Still the actor. She was like, you
Later
got to
that
do it like
night,
this.
I had
Okay.
to go
Oh, as soon as I see
down
the
to
door open going
basement to
downstairs,
do the
This
I'm
is
like,
why I like living in LA, because there's no
no
basements.
basements.
and I was holding the handrail with one hand and all the laundry with the next.
Oh,
Unless
girl.
it's a well-lit, like, big, open basement.
Oh, here
I'm
we go, baby.
terrified.
As I was going
Oh,
down,
Miss
I
Grace.
felt a cold hand grip my right shoulder.
Cold.
Grip my shoulder.
If I hadn't been holding the railing, I could have broken my neck.
She pushed her.
Laura is dead sure about who and what is attacking her.
I mean, that is life-changing.
That was Charles's dead wife. It was a terrible experience. It was so scary.
She's trying to push her to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I think at
She's
the
being
point
very
where
possessive of
Laura is
her husband.
Yes.
She feels the presence of another woman there, a young woman, and she doesn't know who she is. And I don't think that spirits know every detail of every situation. They're very much in their basic
Yeah,
state
they
of
really are.
wants,
Right.
wanting and not having,
Yeah.
and life and death, and I'm
Yeah.
there and you can't hear me. So this is very
And these types of spirits are also really, really big on like impact. They want to make an impact. They want you to feel them and know that they're there.
they're pushing energy through.
Yeah,
They're
they
not doing
definitely
subtle
are.
things. It takes a lot of energy to be in one dimension, clearly, logically, to be able to send energy through the
Yeah.
dimension that
I've
they're
thought
in.
about that so many times. What is it easy for them or hard? What does it take? Do you have to have so much emotional buildup, so much psychic energy
Yeah.
that you can manipulate and go from one psychic dimension, one parent, what
Right.
would you call it? Like the unseen realms.
Well, think about it in the
a different
human-
dimension to
You're right. But what they're tapping into is when human beings are in a high stress situation,
yeah.
the proverbial story of somebody's trapped under a car and the friend or the mother gets the strength to lift something that they could never lift in normal circumstances.
Right.
And that's because of either fear or if you're angry or trying to protect something, you'll have more than your normal strength. So think about that kind of analogy where you're on the other side, you're angry about this woman and taking care of her husband, or you miss someone or something, or you're possessing a house that
Yeah.
was yours and someone else is living there. That's why they're able to move that object and sometimes
Yeah.
fling it across the room.
Right. That's the poltergeist experience.
Yes.
Right. So let's just jump back in.
Okay.
It was to look like I was intruding. She didn't want me there.
So
Her eyes said to me,
I can rewind it, but I went too far. So
It's all right. She's still
she saw the ghost laying next to her husband.
there.
I just wanted to get the hell out of this house. I
So the
was
ghost-
done.
The ghost followed her from the basement to the bedroom where she ran to try to wake up the husband.
Pushes homegirl down the stairs. Then she's still doing her job. Oh, I got to check on Charles.
To protect him.
My
so
God.
She sits there And then the woman comes in the room and she sees the woman laying on the bed.
Can you imagine?
Charles died peacefully at home about a week after I left.
So just put that all together.
I think Grace was with him.
She was waiting for him.
Look at
I
that.
think
That
Grace
actually
was
breaks.
just waiting for him to pass over to be reunited.
I can't
Of
even do
course.
that.
Well, who blames her? Of course you would do that.
Because
Of
of
course,
what
you
I've
love him so
been
much you're going to
through,
wait on the other side.
I
You don't
believe
want to
now.
go to the light yet. You're like, you tell your spirit guides.
You're waiting because you know that your husband is going to cross. So
You know
you're
it.
just waiting, and you're staying and waiting in the room, in the house, and doesn't want any new intruders, nobody to interfere. And she tries to get everybody out of the house. She just wants her husband. She was focused on that. She just wants him to come safely to the other side.
Yeah, because, you know, when you cross over as a medium, I will tell you, my experience has been that your spirit guides meet you, and they usually bring a family member or someone that you know, or maybe your dog that you loved, because you have to acclimate really quickly to being out of the body. So
Right.
they want to show you something loving and supportive and give you that energy. They cannot force you to go to the other side. 9 times out of 10, people just go right across.
Yeah.
But if there is something that is left, you feel left unresolved, you still retain that part of your personality, right? That will. And this is what has happened here. She did not want to cross until she was going to go over that bridge with him, which is so beautiful.
That makes me want to cry.
Of course. And you
I
see,
would totally do that.
yeah,
I think I would be like, instead of going straight to the light, I would like, I don't know.
you'd wait for me.
Yeah, I'd wait for you, and I'd be totally jealous and kick anybody out of that house.
Boy, this is such a beautiful. You see, I think this is
Wow.
kind of a beautiful episode,
How
even
did
though
a
it was scary.
paranormal nightmare night shift?
But Ms.
situation-
Grace, you shouldn't have pushed that girl down the stairs. You could have maybe scribbled a note saying, you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
And what do you got to push her down the stairs for? That was rude.
I just realized, I don't know when I said the title, did I say Paranormal Night Shift or Paranormal Nightmare?
I think you said night shift.
I did. Okay.
I think you could, at this point we can interchange those names. But
Thank
we hope
you
you
guys
guys
for watching. And this is super fun. We can't wait to do more. So like and subscribe, tell your friends, comment below and let us know if you've had a night shift job. We'd love to know if you've seen spirits and
and
meet
your
us-
thoughts on this episode.
Yeah. And so we'll meet you on the next episode.
See you on the other side.
See ya.